Hello everyone, today we are reviewing the 2012 fantasy thriller movie, The Brass Teapot. Let's get started. Spoilers ahead. The movie starts with John and Alice, another ordinary couple who wake up together every morning. Alice is a kind-hearted wife, happy to prepare breakfast for her husband as long as the fridge isn't empty. That's why John has to stand up and work hard to earn money to support them. John starts his job, trying to sell some insurance over the phone, and his boss is demanding better performance and results. John blames his poor performance on the terrible economy, but his boss isn't very concerned. Meanwhile, Alice has a job interview. Indeed, she gets rejected because she doesn't have as much experience or a master's degree like most other applicants. When she comes home defeated, their arrogant landlord knocks on their door demanding rent. This adds more pressure to the couple. Alice checks their online bank statement, and after paying rent, their balance should be minus $45. Later that night, John and Alice attend a party where most of their old classmates seem happy and successful. Their dress code does not meet the standards. Eventually, they meet another couple, their friends, and are able to exchange some views, mainly about their problems. The bright side, the drinks are free and they really can party. The next morning, the couple decides to go shopping in town, as their fridge is still empty. As they are driving on a suburban road, a truck crashes into their car at an intersection because the stop sign is missing. Luckily, they are fine. They have to stop for a while until the police arrive and record the accident. Right beside the road, there's an antique shop run by an old lady. Alice notices the old lady picking up a golden teapot from the ground just as she's entering the shop. Alice walks into the shop, captivated by the teapot. She has a brief conversation with the old lady until the lady gets distracted by a phone call. Alice looks around for the teapot and finds it. She touches the teapot and is immediately hooked. She clings to it tightly, runs out of the shop, and jumps into her husband's car. She commands him to drive away quickly. John is surprised his wife stole something, but Alice thinks it's too beautiful. While Alice is on the phone scheduling an interview, she also straightens her hair. She accidentally burns her forehead with the straightener, and the teapot begins to shake. The phone slips from her hand, and she approaches the teapot. She lifts the lid and sees some dollars inside. She starts to make a connection. She purposely burns her forehead again, and the teapot shakes again. It now has produced $700. Alice kicks a chair, hurting her foot and fingers, and verifies this theory once more. More money appears in the teapot. It's a good time because John has been fired at the same time. John comes home to find the living room trashed, and his wife almost faints. Alice assures him she is fine. He tells her he got fired, and she responds that it's okay. She hands the teapot to John, and John feels a strange vibration. Alice slaps John, then shows him the money from the teapot. She explains that the teapot will pay them for hurting themselves. John has a hard time believing, but Alice kneels hard on his groin. The teapot goes crazy, and money pours out from inside. John initially realizes the whole thing could have a bad ending, so he decides to return the teapot to the antique shop. However, he changes his mind at the last minute, severely addicted to the money-making scheme. Then John brings the teapot to a cash or trash style TV show, where the host appraises the teapot at $5,000. John doesn't take the deal. Meanwhile, a middle-aged Asian man is watching the show and seems very interested in the teapot. He accurately locates John's location on a map hanging on the wall. John and Alice agree to earn $1 million from the teapot and then stop. They let themselves go through painful experiences and stash some cash. But who says they can't enjoy themselves in the process? They indulge in some kinky spanking and sexual activities which the teapot really enjoys. Alice and John are doing well, not just on the outside. Their mood has also improved. This is evident at the lunch table, where Alice's mother and sister can't seem to understand how they're doing so well, relying only on John's salesman salary. Everything seems to go smoothly until two men dressed as rabbis burst into their house, start beating John, asking where the teapot is. It was a thing their grandma was missing and couldn't rest herself about it till the day she died. Alice hides the teapot under the pillow and tells them the teapot has been sold. The rabbis demand the money from the sale of the teapot. Alice is cunning enough to deceive them. She quickly gets the money produced by the teapot from John being beaten and gives it to the rabbis. They take the money and leave. This incident reminds them, and they decide to delve deeper into the teapot issue. They visit a library, find a suitable book about mysterious magical items. Alice sees a piece of paper. Written on it are the miserable consequences of using the teapot. She doesn't want John to see it. While John is distracted, Alice tears off that page. The couple spends some time living their dream life. They buy a new car, buy a new mansion in a wealthy neighborhood, update their wardrobes, and even host parties, inviting high-profile guests. Then one day, an Asian man rings their doorbell, introduces himself as Ling Li from the theological world. He says he is interested in ancient artifacts, especially the teapot. John really wants to hear what the man has to say, but Alice won't let it go. She tells him that if they lose the teapot, they will lose everything. Ling warns them of danger, but they shut the door in his face. This is not their only visitor. Their former landlord, Arnie, visits them uninvited. He asks them how two losers like them end up in such a wonderful neighborhood. Arnie behaves foolishly. After all, he is drunk. He takes the teapot from them and runs out with it. John tries to retrieve the teapot, but the teapot ends up in the middle of the road. Arnie runs over the teapot with a truck, but the teapot is fine. Not even a scratch. Alice finally breathes a sigh of relief. But at the same time, this is also a bit strange. How could the teapot withstand a truck running over it without any damage? They visit Ling to ask him about this. Ling says the teapot can't be destroyed. The only way to get rid of it is to hide it in a way that no one can find. He talks about the history of the teapot, saying it has fallen into the hands of the best and worst people in history. Ling warns them that even if there is a bit of evil in them, the teapot will bring it out and magnify it. The last time there was a report about the teapot was a long time ago in a Nazi concentration camp. Alice once again persuades John not to hand over the teapot. She claims they are both good characters, good people. They will never lose control of themselves. So their struggle continues. One night, the two rabbis who attacked them in the past break into their house again and steal their money in the middle of the night. They comment that John and Alice are amateurs because they hide their money in the toilet tank. John and Alice hear it, come out of the bedroom to confront them. The rabbis admit they're not really after the teapot, because they know what kind of pain the teapot can cause and how it can drive you mad. They've seen it on their grandmother. So they let John and Alice bear all the pain, creating wealth for them. They're just for the money. John and Alice try to stop them, and a fight breaks out. When Alice is hit by the invaders, both John and Alice are knocked unconscious. Things have spiraled out of control. The teapot now spends less money than before. Frankly, Alice and John have been hurt enough so far. They have hurt themselves a lot. So they decide to seek some help. They go to a motorcycle bar, ask who is the most despicable person inside. The barman points John to the right person. John fights with him while holding a bag containing the teapot. Of course, he hopes to get the best profit return. John gets hurt, and Ling approaches him again. He tells him that the teapot is devouring him and his wife. Meanwhile, Alice observes that when other people also get hurt, the teapot can make money. A skater travels near Alice, the teapot makes money. Alice shares this knowledge with John, and they start participating in painful activities to help the teapot make money, such as MMA, fighting, and childbirth. The teapot indeed begins to devour Alice's soul. While Alice is driving, with John sitting next to her, Alice mentions the world is full of pain. A homeless man is crossing the road, and Alice is deeply immersed in her own little world. She speeds up, intending to run over that poor man. John manipulates the steering wheel at the last moment, saves the man, preventing his wife from committing murder. They verbally fight each other. Alice blames him for not cooperating. He doesn't understand her. Alice has another small discovery. This time, the teapot generates due to emotional pain. She really insults John well to test her new theory. She's right. The teapot makes money also due to emotional harm. Alice asks John to hurt her emotionally. John is initially reluctant, but later listens to Alice's request, describes an incident of him kissing another woman, and how he sometimes still remembers that kiss when he kisses Alice. They make this a regular thing, insulting each other, sharing their past dark secrets, making each other feel terrible so the teapot can make money. Finally, Alice concludes that she's never been so honest with another person in her life. They no longer do this to each other but start exposing their secrets to their loved ones, making other people feel upset. They manage to make a lot of money. Alice even reveals her sister's dirty secret that her first child was conceived with another man, not her current husband. They implement this plan, but Alice regrets not exposing her sister. When they return home, he tells her that she did well. She's a good person, but Alice says her regret will hold them back. She suggests they perform one big stunt at the end, reach $1 million, and then stop. John argues that they already have enough money, but Alice doesn't hear it at all. She says there are pedophiles and drug dealers in the amusement park. If they kill such a person, they would both be doing society a favor and receiving a hefty reward. John doesn't agree with this plan, but he can't refuse his wife. They even dug a grave, but John now decides to stop. He says he can't go on like this. He asks Alice to choose between him and the teapot. Alice doesn't respond. John leaves disappointedly. John visits Ling and asks for his help. Ling says it's too late. He tells him to steal the teapot, but Ling says no. They have to willingly hand the teapot to him. That night, when Alice walks to the bedroom after taking a bath, she finds John sitting by the window on the second floor. He pleads with her to return the teapot to him after he leaves. Alice begs him not to jump, but John jumps. Alice is very worried about her husband. She takes the painful lesson. John wakes up. He asks Alice if she's willing to give the teapot to Ling. Alice says she's ready. But there's another problem. The same night, Alice and John fall asleep. They hear a noise coming from downstairs. John goes to check. This time, someone has stolen the teapot. That person is Arnie, who suspects the mysterious power of the teapot. In fact, Arnie hurts himself. His girlfriend also gets hurt because they have discovered the actual working principle of the teapot. John and Alice go to his house to retrieve the teapot because they are the ones who are supposed to give the teapot to Ling. These two rabbis are thrown together because they are lured in by the teapot. Alice recalls that they touched the teapot when they broke into their house and stole their money. Fortunately for John and Alice, with the help of handguns and rifles, everyone else has eliminated themselves. Now John and Alice can freely return the teapot to Ling. They do so. Ling praises them. Past kings and queens failed to escape the influence of the teapot, but they managed to do so. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, then click the bell icon to receive new movie reviews.